How's it going, everybody? I decided... So normally, I don't like it now when we make new levels. Because I'm like, dude, we don't need new levels. But I had an idea for a new level that we don't have, and it's a basic enough idea that it would feel like the game is missing something if we didn't do it. So, let's try this level out, and we'll see if it's stupid. I don't know. I don't know what size to make the islands or anything, dude. This is all... Alright, so the idea is simple. The idea is there's things you could do this. Boom. Alright? And then what could I do? I could do it again. I could go there, and then... Well, I don't have to move those, actually. And then I could move it over and go there. Maybe the island is not wide enough, all right? But I could do this. I think it would be better probably be better if I could go to the left more. Let's add that just to start, all right? And we could trim it off later if we want. All right. So here we go. We go here. Not there. We go there. We go here. Boom. We do it again. Can you see what I'm going to do? Oh, not that. No. All right. So now I'm going to do that. Boom. Okay. Now I can go back. I could do it again. I could do it again. Spoilers, by the way. Okay, this idea actually doesn't work. As it is. So for this to work, the idea would be that I'm going further out every time, right? So actually the island has to be shaped kind of different. So from here, let's just build it out. Let's just discover the level and build it out, right? This is like a key designer strat. Actually, I probably didn't want to do that. So like from there, we would need to go north some more, right? So what it's going to be is actually the island kind of diagonal, right? But let's just do it. Let's go north even more. All right. I think this is workable. All right, so we're going to go 1. Actually, now that that's up, we could go further because we can get the mirror back now. 1, 2, 3. Gonna need to bring the camera out. Bring it back over. 1, 2. See where I'm going with this? 3. Okay, the flaw in this level is you need a second character. It's not really a flaw. It just means it won't go in the base game. You need a second character because you need to send the guy along this path that we're building. You know? And that path yeah, but we won't worry about that yet. Our goal right now is just to get the rocks to the target island as far as we can. All right, so again, if we're going to go out and then up like this, all right, all right, save. All right, see what's happening here? See what's happening? All right, boom, boom, boom. Now we can go all the way out there. See that? Because I can get it back due to the zigzagolio shape. Okay, I fucked up though. Wait. Why did I not put it here to begin with? What is my major malfunction, Lieutenant? All right. 2. Oh, you know what? It could be. We could do it with 2 characters, or it could just be you have to put a crystal on a button in a specific place to open up the exit on your home island. I don't know which of those is better. All right, so we go. You got to do the whole sequence every time is the point. Boom. And then we go up here. Look how far out we got that. Boom. Boom. Do you think 4 is enough? Maybe we stop at 4, right? Oh God, we're off the map. We're so far off the map, it's out of bounds. Anyway, though, we can, of course, maybe 4 is enough. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, no, we need 5 actually. Oops. Oops. Obviously, we need 5. All right, we're just going to keep doing it. We're iterating, guys. This is called iterated function systems. It's a technical term. Look it up. Yeah, we're going to be able to put the island farther away with 5 stones, dude. Which will be good. Okay, that's bad, because due to the shape of the island, I gotta stop short there, but that's fine. It'll let people turn their brain on. They'll use their imagination brain. Sacagawea. Sacagawea. Alright. So, we are hitting the bullseye right there. So, if this level were about putting it on a button, we would just put the button right there. If the level were about 2 characters, then we would just have a second character. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? We need to save the resolution. We saved the music and sound. We didn't save the resolution setting. In the campaign file. That's kind of blurry. That's better. Can you make it an actual stone path over water? Not with 5 stones. Well, if you mean... Okay, so if we were going to do the 2 character version, we would need to go 1 shorter, but it might be fun. Like, it might be fun to move your guy out to the island, right? Don't you think? Okay, actually though, if it's to move a guy out, we don't need stone number 5. We just need second character. Right? Because this would be putting the second character on the island. Here. Maybe second guy could be on a 3rd island. Maybe. Okay. I'm a little bit... So here's the thing. That is maybe good because it gives you an excuse to use the mirror, right? The problem is... in a game this big, like when you design levels like that, you just keep doing all these like prelude to the actual level things, like let's get the guy off the island and whatever, right? And I don't think it's necessarily good to do that. Like it turns a lot of the game into, you know, not doing the cool stuff, the point of the thing. So I'm leaning, the more that we work on this game, the more I'm leaning away from that kind of stuff. Okay. What now? Let's make it the 2-character version. Let's try that. We'll move the island one more, because that's fun. We'll extend the ground a little bit, at least. Boop. Yeah, go a little more. It's good. It's good for the people to have a ground under their water, you know? All right. Okay, so I mean, do we really need the camera to be... I don't know. All right. Here we go. Recording. Boom. 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 Oh, I didn't put an exit for me. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. I didn't put an exit for me. Boo-hoo. If you want to succeed in the game industry, you need, well, if you give people the advice that if they want to succeed in the game industry, they need an exit, then they'll think you mean a different kind of exit. All right. Yeah, maybe I'll leave that where it was. All right. Well, rip my recording. There is a way, someone on the team requested a way to do a partial recording, and I added it, and I don't even remember how to do it. So I could have done it there. Because it's at the end. You say like, okay, end the recording, but we'll be able to play it back later as a partial. I don't know, man. Sometimes I just take my medicine, like right now. I go to Madison Square Garden and I take my medicine. Okay. That's not good. That's too far. Do they have a pharmacy at Madison Square Garden called Madison Square Garden? That is the pharmacy I would go to. All right. Well, I feel like that's a successful level. Right? Is there an exploit? I don't know. I will ask the other guys on the design team. Six out of 10, too much water. Well, what can I say except that we're not going to have a drought in this game. There will be no drought. I guess I could add a little nugget here. Maybe also, maybe a little nugget there. Maybe. I don't know. Does that break my test? I don't think so. Nope. Sometimes you just put a little nugget, okay? Do I have an estimate for the release date? Yes, I do. The estimate is 2026. Maybe. Maybe it's 2027. Maybe it's 2029. Maybe it's, because Brian Johnson's going to make sure that we're all immortal. So maybe I've got until 2626. Create a dialogue with all shortcuts. I don't even know what that means. Will this game be affected by the tariffs? Well, it is made in the USA. So I don't know what more you want. Let me put this on the spreadsheet. Anyone have questions about game development? Because I'm going to go to bed now. Okay, I want to work on Mirror 22 tomorrow. We've got a list of levels that are like, they are, how would I say? They're levels we want to revise. And that's one of them. What do I think about NetHack Sokoban? I think that's fine. Why do you think I wouldn't like NetHack Sokoban? Capsules or cylinders for character controlling? I mean, I think it depends deeply on what you are doing. There are other options besides those two. What are my recommendations now for starter game developers 2025? Get good at making games. Like maybe you're missing the idea of NetHack. But the whole idea of NetHack is it has a bunch of crazy crap in it. Why would a game that has all kinds of crazy crap in it not have Sokoban? Like, Why doesn't it have an Oregon Trail minigame is my question. Movies and TV can get away with 1,000+ head counts just fine. No, they don't. No, they don't. I mean, are you talking about across 10 seasons of a TV series, counting every contributor, it adds up to 1,000? Like, because the dude worked on makeup for one episode? Sure. That's not what I'm talking about. So why are you twisting what I'm talking about? There's no fucking TV show with 1,000 people on the staff full time. That's not a thing. So the thing about games is until about 2021, there was a spiral going on where if you spent more money, effectively, you were the biggest, most expensive game with some property associated with being big that you could advertise and get people excited about. Like it used to be the absolute best graphics because your budget was high and you had smart programmers, right? And then, but like for Skyrim or whatever, it's like, oh, there's a really big world full of all kinds of things, right? One of those kind of aspects. And then around 2021, that stopped working for a lot of reasons. Because games are already too big to play. Like making them bigger makes them less playable instead of more playable. Making graphics more expensive doesn't actually make them better anymore. There's just like more blur and shit on the screen. And then teams became less effective. So like, because people don't really work anymore and the average skill level in the game industry is dropping, teams don't coordinate as well because they're more remote. It just like the outcome is much worse when you have a very large team size. So you put all these things together and that winning strategy is not really the winning strategy anymore, right? So just spending a ton of money and being the biggest, most expensive game, it didn't used to be a sure thing, but it used to give you high confidence that you were going to win. And now that's not true anymore. And so the question is, absent that strategy, what is the largest size of game that reliably will make money? And we don't actually know the answer to that question, is the crazy thing. We don't know, but it's probably smaller than what you're used to, is the answer. The Severance cast list? No. Dude, okay, first of all, a cast is the people you see on the screen, and Severance doesn't have very much of that. Yeah, dude, you're adding like people who are like second assistant director for 2 episodes. That's not comparable to what we're talking about. When we say team size of 1,000 in games, that's like people who worked on the game for like probably at least a year. There is some team shifting around and stuff like that, but like that's people who spent a lot of time working on the game. Like I'm scrolling through this list you gave, and there's like flame artist, digital compositor in 2 episodes. Like sure, stunt driver 1 episode. Yeah, sure. Like that's not the same thing as what we're talking about at all. At all. Like the amount of time that Severance is even in production, right? Like I don't know. It's season 2 was an expensive show with a lot of resources, right? So let's say they spent 2 weeks shooting 1 episode. I don't even know if that's accurate. Somebody can look up how long it took. That's just going to be a guess that I have. Is 2 weeks an episode of like actually shooting. Of course, they edit it after that. They're writing it before that and planning and all that. But let's just say it's that. Maybe it's more because the budget's so high. But there's 10 episodes at 2 weeks an episode. That's 20 weeks, right? The latest Assassin's Creed game was like years. It's probably 5 years. I don't even know. You can look that up as well. So, like, it's just not remotely comparable. Did I like the ending of season 2? I liked a lot of things about the ending, yeah. The magic of the show had kind of disappeared for me by then because of all the mistakes and screw ups. So I just wasn't as bought into it, but they did a lot of good, clever stuff in that last episode. AV Club says it took 168 days. All right. That's about a little more than I guessed, right? So 2 weeks an episode times 10 episodes would be 20 weeks, which is 140 days. So it was an extra month over my guess. Good guess. But the point being, I mean, dude, Severance even, like, it's very, like, you don't pay directly for Severance, right? And so that's another thing that makes the comparison more confusing is just, I mean, like, Apple's probably investing in it as a loss leader to get subscribers who will stay on their service, right? It's just like a different business model. Do you have any recommendations for getting a job after writing an engine, assuming you don't mind making next to nothing for a while? I mean, this is probably historically one of the hardest times to get a job in the games industry. So be aware of that. However, you can get a job. People are hiring. It's just a buyer's market, so to speak. And you just have to be way better than everyone else, right? Or it helps to be way better than everyone else. I mean, here's what I would say. is if you said, "Hey, I made an engine." That's a good thing to have on your resume, but people are going to want to see a video of what it looks like. If the video doesn't look that good, you could just spend some time making it look better, right? Fix a few things, make it look flashier. Like, that's going to help get you the job. Because here's the problem: is like, I mean, it's way better for a programmer if they say they made an engine than if they say, "Oh, I do C# snippets in Unity," right? So those are two different skill levels. But the problem is the resume pool is full of people who say they made an engine, and then you look at what they did, and it's just kind of the same crappy basic stuff that a lot of people have that's not really real in any dimension. You know, like if you hang out on Handmade Forum or whatever the hell, and like the standard thing that everybody has there after like a month, that's like not that impressive, right? So it's a lot better than not having that, but it's there's this curse, right? It's the curse of something. I'm sure there's a name for it, where you do have something that's more than most people could do, but if it looks bad, it doesn't help you, or it's actually negative, right? So that would be a thing that you could do. Good luck making your own game. I think it is a worthwhile experience that is always more challenging than you expect. I mean, like a basic rendering engine. No, it could be a basic rendering engine. That's fine. In fact, like if someone's hiring you for a rendering position, they don't care about the gameplay you put in, right? But like, does it look good? Does the rendering look good? Right? Or does it look like Minecraft or whatever, right? If it looks like Minecraft, is there something else you're doing that's like interesting? Are you doing an unusually large world or unusually fast or something, right? You want to have some hook that's why you're a skilled person making an engine and not just like a rando, right? What are my thoughts on CD Projekt abandoning their engine? I think it's a mistake. I understand why they did it, because Cyberpunk was a fucking disaster initially. But I think it's a mistake. Do I have any thoughts on pedagogical programming language design? Not really. Like, if I was going to teach programming, I would have someone play Zachtronics games. I think those are very educational. Aside from that, dude, I don't know. I mean, I learned on frickin' Microsoft Basic, which you could not claim was well designed for pedagogical purposes. But you know what? All the people who learned back then are better programmers on average than the average programmer today. So something worked about that model. Wait, did Bungie also get rid of their engine? Or was that a reference to something else? I mean, I would get rid of Bungie's engine because I think they. I just have a very different idea about how things should be designed than they did. And I think they had some very fundamental problems due to their engine design. But I would just make a new engine that doesn't have those problems, which is easy. Oh, 343. Okay, well that's totally different. So 343 is going Unreal, is what you're saying? Or did already, maybe? Wait, someone else is saying Bungie announced they're switching to UE5. Bungie's situation right now is so upsetting. I mean, the thing is, I don't exactly know what their situation is right this second, but they're, again, to go back to the previous topic, they're just an incredibly expensive company, right? You saw all those deals that they signed for Destiny and Destiny 2 of like hundreds of millions of dollars to fund the studio, right? Like, that's how many people they have. Bungie reportedly using UE5. Okay, well, I understand why they would do that. I'm not going to trash talk Bungie because I don't have up-to-date information especially, but I heard very bad things about their process. And these things are bad enough that like they would have made the games significantly more expensive than they should have been, right? So I'm not that surprised if that's true, if that rumor is true. Any advice on how to judge the difficulty of puzzles you have designed? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, everything's way harder than you think. Until you build the skill of correcting for that, everything is way harder than you think it is. But you can offset that. So there's certain kind of difficulty that are just bad because they're not really on topic of anything and they're not really interesting. Like, if you make a level kind of unreadable and then people have to sort of do this brute force search in order to figure out what in the level they're even supposed to be looking at, that makes it hard, and it's also just not that interesting, right? Because every game does that or can do that, especially bad games, right? So what you learn as a designer is, what is it like for the player to sit down and look at this level, and you can help them and you can talk to them, right? And that at least removes some of this bad, like, confusion difficulty. And then it leaves the difficulty of the actual puzzle, which also probably is too hard, but it's at least not being piled on by this other thing. All right, everybody, it's bedtime for me. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to bed. I'll see you later on. Have a good night.